I would like to invite Dr. Alka Pandey to commence her speech and share her insights with all of us.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone who has joined us. I just want to correct little bit. You introduce myself. मैं उसमें थोड़ा सा correction करना चाहती हूँ. Myself, Dr. Alka Pandey. I am not associated with the Khadi board. I am working as a district village industries officer, and I am a nodal officer of Garhwal region, working with 7 districts. So I am a PCS officer. So I am fully associated with Khadi board, and I used to work for the schemes run by the central government and the state government as well. तो सबसे ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट ये है कि मैंने आपके साथ जो ज्वाइन होना चाहा था, आप लोगों का जिस तरीके का मार्केटिंग और ये सारी चीजों की बातें हम कर रहे हैं, तो मुझे लगता है एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप के बाद ही ये सारे सवाल पैदा होते हैं. तो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है कि पहले हम एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप से ही अपनी बात को शुरू करें. इज इट ओके इफ आई विल स्पीक इन हिंदी? इज इट ओके विथ एवरीवन? प्लीज. ओके, चलिए. तो मैं ये चाहती हूँ, मेरा जो मोटिव है, बिकॉज माई शेड्यूल वॉज वेरी हेक्टिक और मैं अभी 4 बजे ही पौड़ी से देहरादून आई हूँ, और मेरा मोटिव आप लोगों के साथ जुड़ना है कि हमारे साथ जितने भी यूथ्स जुड़े हैं, अभी आप इंट्रोडक्शन दे रहे थे, हमारे साथ कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट भी हैं, तो हमारे साथ बहुत सारे बच्चे ऐसे हैं जिनको ये नहीं पता है कि एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप में वो किसी भी प्रोजेक्ट के लिए गवर्नमेंट स्कीम की योजनाओं का लाभ लेके उनसे जुड़ के काम कर सकते हैं, जिससे उन्हें फाइनेंशियल सपोर्ट ही नहीं मिलता है, उन्हें डिपार्टमेंटल हेल्प मिलती है, प्लस उनका एक्सपोजर बहुत अच्छा होता है, एक रिलायबिलिटी जुड़ती है, और उन्हें वो सारी चीजें एक्सपेंशन में गवर्नमेंट के द्वारा हेल्प की जाती हैं, जिसकी उनको सेपरेटली करने में बहुत सारी उनको बहुत सारी दिक्कतों का सामना करना पड़ता है. जैसे कि सबसे बड़ी बात मेरे साथ जो मेरा एक्सपीरियंस है वो ये है कि बहुत सारे लोग हैं, ये वो बड़ा प्राउडली कहते हैं कि आई हैव इन्वेस्टेड माय ओन पर्सनल अमाउंट फॉर माय बिजनेस. तो ये एक बहुत अच्छा अप्रिशिएटिंग पार्ट नहीं है, बिकॉज यू हैव वेस्टेड योर मनी. आपने उस पैसे को कहीं पर को सेव करके रखना था, जब आपके लिए आपके स्टेट ने, आपकी सेंट्रल ने, जहां से भी आप रिलेटेड है, किसी भी स्टेट से होंगे, वहां जरूर सेंट्रल और स्टेट की स्कीम्स चल रही होंगी जिनका आप यूज कर सकते हैं, लाभ ले सकते हैं, फायदा उठा सकते हैं, और आप उसको एज अ स्टैंडी यूज कर सकते हैं अपने उस अमाउंट को. जैसा कि हम लोगों ने देखा तो कोविड में बहुत सारे बिजनेस फ्लॉप हुए थे, जिनके बहुत सारे रीजंस यही थे कि उन लोगों ने अपना ये जो स्टैंडी थी इसको नहीं रखा था साथ में, ये जो उनका स्टैंड बाय था उसको नहीं रखा था. तो बहुत जरूरी है कि हम अपने यूथ्स को कॉलेजेस में, स्कूल्स में ये चीज बताएं कि एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप एक ऑप्शन तो है ही, लेकिन उसे इंप्लीमेंट करने के लिए आपका कोई भी आइडिया, कोई भी विजन, कोई भी स्ट्रीम है जिस पर आप काम कर सकते हैं. जैसे कि अभी हमारे साथ कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट डॉक्टर साहब जुड़े हैं, तो बहुत सारे हैं. पैथोलॉजी लैब के लिए हम बच्चे को सपोर्ट कर सकते हैं, हम फिजियोथेरेपी का सेटअप उसके लिए लगा सकते हैं. हमने देहरादून में एक डेंटल उनका पूरा सेटअप लगाया है, उन्होंने सेकंड लोन में अभी 1 करोड़ का वो किया है, और एम्स ऋषिकेश में उनका अच्छा टाइप है और उनका बिजनेस इतना अच्छा ग्रो कर रहा है. लेकिन उन्होंने ये बुद्धिमानी की, ये इंटेलिजेंस उनकी थी कि उन्होंने अपना सेव मनी वहां पर यूज नहीं करके सब्सिडाइज स्कीम से लोन लेने के बाद अपना काम शुरू किया, तो उनको बहुत सारे फायदे हुए. पहला फायदा ये हुआ है, ही इज द फेथफुल फॉर द बैंकर्स, बिकॉज बैंक को पता है कि एक ऐसी सरकारी स्कीम है जहां पर ये एक तो काम करेंगे, सेकेंडली इनकी सब्सिडी वगैरह का जो अमाउंट है उसमें कहीं कोई दिक्कत नहीं आएगी. और वो उनका जो लिंकेजेस था, हम उन्हें जहां भी लिंक करा पाए हमने कराया, और उनके एफर्ट्स से कि आज एम्स ऋषिकेश में वो प्रॉपर डेंटल डिपार्टमेंट में सारे इक्विपमेंट्स देना, सारा दांत से संबंधित जो भी चीजें हैं वो देते हैं. तो हम अगर अपने यूथ में ये एक चीज पिंक कर देना, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि हम इसके बाद ही मार्केटिंग की बात करेंगे, हम इसके बाद ही ई कॉमर्स की बात करेंगे, कोई भी चीज इसके बाद शुरू होती है. और आज जिस तरीके से जॉब्स नहीं है, और जो गवर्नमेंट जॉब का एक क्रेज हुआ करता था कि आप जो है पेंशन पाएंगे, वो भी एक तरीके से आज खत्म हो चुका है. तो बच्चे बहुत अच्छे अच्छे इनोवेटिव आइडियाज के साथ आ रहे हैं और काम कर रहे हैं. बस एक ये हल्का सा बीच में जो पैसेज है, इसको भरना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. ये जो ब्रिज बनाना है हमको बच्चों के और इस योजनाओं के बीच में, वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, जिसमें मुझे लगता है आप लोग बहुत अच्छा रोल निभा रहे हैं. तो आपको मैं बस शॉर्ट में बताना चाहूंगी, बिकॉज मुझे ये बताया गया था वी विल गेट ओनली 15 मिनट्स, तो मैं कोशिश करूंगी कि टाइमली मैं वाइंड अप कर दूं. तो हमारी जो 2 स्कीम्स चलती हैं, इसमें बहुत सारे बच्चे कुछ उत्तराखंड के भी जुड़े होंगे, लेकिन पहले हम सेंट्रल की स्कीम की बात करते हैं, जो ऑल ओवर इंडिया में सेम तरीके से फॉलो अप होती है, जिसे पीएमईजीपी कहा जाता है, प्राइम मिनिस्टर एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेशन प्रोग्राम। हिंदी में अगर हम कहेंगे तो प्रधानमंत्री रोजगार सृजन कार्यक्रम। इसके हम जब इसको फुल फॉर्म में बोल रहे हैं तो हमें इसका मोटिव समझ में आ रहा है कि वी हैव टू जनरेट एम्प्लॉयमेंट, इट्स एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेशन प्रोग्राम। तो आप खुद के साथ साथ, आप खुद को तो एम्प्लॉय अपने को काम दे रहे हैं, साथ में आप बहुत सारे लोगों को एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेट करके अपने साथ जोड़ रहे हैं। तो ये इस योजना की सबसे बड़ी खासियत है। ऑल ओवर इंडिया में किसी भी राज्य में, किसी भी स्टेट में, कहीं भी एक ही रूप में ये जो योजना है वो फॉलो होती है। इसमें सर्विस सेक्टर और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में काम किया जाता है, ट्रेडिंग इज नॉट इन्वॉल्व इन दिस। और इसमें रूरल और अर्बन दोनों क्षेत्रों में काम होता है। SC ST OBC, महिला, एक्स आर्मी पर्सन, हैंडीकैप्ड, हमारे ट्रांसजेंडर्स, इतने सारे लोगों के लिए जो है वो 35% की सब्सिडी है रूरल एरिया में। और ये लोग अगर अर्बन में करते हैं तो 25% की सब्सिडी है। और इनकी जो सब्सिडी है उसी अमाउंट के बराबर इनको जो भी ब्याज बैंक ले रहा होगा उतने ही ब्याज की छूट उस अमाउंट में इनको दी जाएगी। जनरल के लिए अगर वो रूरल में काम करता है तो इट इज में 25 लाख तक का लोन ले सकते हैं, और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में 50,000 से लेके 50 लाख तक का। लेकिन इसमें एक सबसे अच्छी बात यह है कि चाहे आप सर्विस सेक्टर में काम करें, चाहे आप मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में काम करें, आपको अप टिल 10 लाख कोई कोलेटरल देने की आवश्यकता नहीं है। इट इज कोलेटरल फ्री लोन। तो मेरा जो फील्ड एक्सपीरियंस है वो ये कहता है कि कोई नया बच्चा जब काम शुरू करता है तो 5 से 10 के बीच में उसका एक बहुत अच्छा सेटअप शुरू हो जाता है। और रही मार्केटिंग और पैकेजिंग और ये सारी चीजों की बातें, तो उसके लिए वैसे हमारे पास बहुत सारे स्पेशलिस्ट यहाँ पर हैं, बट स्टिल हमारे इस वाले पीएमईजीपी में जब हम लोग अपना एप्लीकेशन फिल करते हैं उसके बाद इसमें एक ईडीपी की ट्रेनिंग होती है, दैट इज कॉल्ड एंटरप्रेन्योर डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम। इट इज मतलब छोटे लोन के लिए इट इज अप टिल 5 डेज एंड बाकी ये 10 दिन की होती है, जिसको आप ऑनलाइन, उसमें आप सारी चीजें जानते हैं, मार्केटिंग के बारे में, अगर आप ईटेबल्स बना रहे हैं तो FSSI के बारे में, GST के बारे में, एवरीथिंग इज टीच ओवर देयर। तो उससे क्या होता है कि देखिए आपको काम भी करना आता है, आपको पैसा भी मिल गया, नाउ यू डोंट नो हाउ टू यूटिलाइज दैट मनी इन अ प्रॉपर मैनर। तो वो चीज आपको एंटरप्रेन्योर डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम में सिखाई जाती है कि हाउ टू यूज दैट मनी फॉर योर बिजनेस, प्लस किस तरीके से आपको मैनेज करना है ताकि आप फ्लॉप ना हो, आप एक सक्सेस एंटरप्रेन्योर बन सके। अपार्ट ऑफ दिस हम लोग कोशिश करते हैं कि हमारे जितने भी एंटरप्रेन्योर हैं उन्हें आपस में इंटरलिंक करें और उनको ऐसे प्लेटफॉर्म्स दें जहां कहीं नीड हो उनके बनाए हुए प्रोडक्ट की, तो हम उन्हें वहां टाई अप कराते हैं। तो ये एक बहुत अच्छा प्लेटफॉर्म बच्चों के लिए हो सकता है जहां उन्हें हम इंफॉर्मेशन दें और उन्हें बताएं कि आप जरूर इन चीजों से फायदा लें और अपना जमा पूंजी न लगाकर आप गवर्नमेंट के द्वारा दी जाने वाले अमाउंट की सब्सिडी का और इन सब चीजों का अपना अच्छे से यूटिलाइजेशन के बाद अपने अगर काम को शुरू करते हैं तो इट विल बी वेरी फ्रूटफुल फॉर देम। दूसरा, जो लोग उत्तराखंड के लिए हैं उनके लिए एक स्कीम है, दैट इज MSY, मुख्यमंत्री स्वरोजगार योजना। अदर स्टेट्स में भी डेफिनेटली उनकी कोई ना कोई राज्य स्तरीय स्कीम जरूर चल रही होगी, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ने कोई ना कोई स्कीम जरूर निकाली होगी, तो वो जरूर उसके बारे में पता कर लें। पीएमईजी की जब इम्प्लीमेंट की बात करते हैं तो 3 इम्प्लीमेंट एजेंसीज आर देयर। एक है खादी बोर्ड जिससे मैं हूं, जो स्टेट की होगी, एक होता है खादी कमीशन KVIC, दैट इज ऑफ सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, एक होता है DIC, जिला उद्योग केंद्र। तो तीनों में से किसी भी डिपार्टमेंट से आप टाई अप करके अपना एप्लीकेशन फिल कर सकते हो। उत्तराखंड में जो भी बच्चे हैं वो MSY में जब लाभ लेंगे तो कुछ एरियाज हैं, जैसे हम देहरादून में हैं तो देहरादून में चक्राता वाले पार्ट में 25% के कुछ स्पेसिफाइड हैं, अदरवाइज सबके लिए 15% की सब्सिडी है, 15 की उनकी ब्याज की छूट है। लेकिन इसमें एक सबसे अच्छी बात क्या है कि जो प्रोजेक्ट्स हमने पीएमईजीपी में छोड़ दिए थे, हमने कहा था कि आप ट्रेडिंग नहीं कर सकते, आप मीट शॉप नहीं खोल सकते, एक उसमें एक नेगेटिव लिस्ट है जो पीएमईजीपी में कवर नहीं होती, वो आप आराम से MSY में कवर कर सकते हैं। और MSY में भी आप 10 लाख तक का अगर लोन लेते हैं तो इट इज कोलेटरल फ्री। तो अगर इस तरीके से उत्तराखंड से भी हमारे कुछ बच्चे हमारे साथ जुड़े हों और उन्हें ऐसा लगता हो कि उनको इस तरीके का कोई काम शुरू करना है, तो MSY में भी सर्विस सेक्टर ऑफ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में काम होता है, लेकिन जो उत्तराखंड के हमारे लोग जुड़ते हैं उन्हें मैं पर्सनली यही सजेस्ट करती हूँ कि वो अगर सर्विस और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में जा रहे हैं तो दे शुड गो फॉर द PMEGP, क्योंकि वहां सब्सिडी अच्छी है. बट इफ दे आर गोइंग फॉर द ट्रेडिंग एंड नेगेटिव लिस्ट विच इज इंक्लूडेड इन PMEGP, उस पर काम करना चाहते हैं तो उन्हें तब MSY पे जाना चाहिए. तो ये एक मोटी मोटी योजनाओं की जानकारी है. बाकी अगर किसी को भी कभी ऐसा लगता हो कि कोई इस तरीके की उनको गाइडेंस की भी आवश्यकता है, कई बार ऐसा होता है हम लोग बच्चों से जब मिलते हैं तो उनके पास बहुत सारे आइडियाज होते हैं. अब वो कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं कि किसको फॉलो अप में लाना है. तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि वहां पर उनको एक जना गाइड करने वाला हो और उन्हें बताए कि आप इस तरीके से फॉलो अप करें. उनको अगर लगता है कि उन्हें हमारी कहीं जरूरत है तो दे कैन अप्रोच मी, नो इश्यूज. और उत्तराखंड से अगर हमारे साथ कोई जुड़ा है 13 के 13 राज्यों में कहीं भी अगर उन्हें ऐसा लगता है कि हमारी आवश्यकता है तो वो मुझसे संपर्क कर सकते हैं. बाकी मार्केटिंग के लिए यू आर हैविंग स्पेशल एक्सपर्ट्स विद यू, तो मैं मार्केटिंग के बारे में बहुत ज्यादा बात नहीं करूंगी. मैं सिर्फ इस समय उसी योजना की बात करूंगी जो एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप में बच्चों को हेल्प कर पाएगी, बिकॉज देयर इज अ टाइम लिमिट. तो अदरवाइज मेरा सेशन बहुत लंबा निकल जाएगा. तो इसके बाद अगर किसी को ऐसा लगता है कि मुझसे कोई सवाल पूछना है तो एनीवन कैन आस्क. सो आई एम गिविंग माय व्हाट्सएप नंबर. तो अगर आपको ऐसा लगता है कि अभी आपको नहीं है कोई सवाल आपके पास तो प्लीज ड्रॉप अ मैसेज इन माय व्हाट्सएप नंबर. मैं जैसे ही फ्री होंगी तुरंत आई विल रिप्लाई. और जो भी मेरे से आपको लगता हो पूछना है, जानना है, कोई हेल्प की जरूरत है, इवन DPR बनाने के लिए जो प्रोजेक्ट रिपोर्ट है उसमें हमारी हेल्प की जरूरत है, आपको काउंसलिंग चाहिए, एनीथिंग रिगार्डिंग एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप, यू कैन अप्रोच मी. आई एम गिविंग यू माय नंबर. मेरा व्हाट्सएप नंबर लिख लीजिए प्लीज आप लोग.
Anyone who has any questions may unmute themselves and speak if you do want to. No questions out here from the panel? Okay, no issues. Alka ji, thank you for your speech. That was great. If you could just please share your email ID and contact details in the chat box.
Okay, my email ID is Rajiv Khadi.
If you can just type it out in the chat box. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Priyansh, you may continue.
Thank you so much, Ms. Alka, for the wonderful speech. It was a very insightful one. And now I would request Mr. Korvi Vinay Kumar to commence his speech.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Korvi Vinay Kumar, founder and CEO of Machine Services. I'm a political analyst and strategist, as well as I'm a digital marketing expert. I'm glad to be here to address young entrepreneurs here. I'm thankful to SK Associates and Group for giving me this opportunity. Right. So I think I have 15 minutes of time. I won't take much time here. Right. So I just want to share my journey here because I am under 30 and I have a firm right now with me. So I have been working with many politicians around the Telugu states. I'm giving digital marketing services to them, as well as political. As a political analyst, I'm also giving strategies to them. So many of them has become corporators, sarpanch, as well as MLA and MLC. So I saw many people saying that I'll start a firm when I'm 35 or 40. I asked them, why you want that much time? They say that I'll work for few years, then after saving money, I'll start a firm. So I always give a best suggestion is that start as early as possible. I started when I am 23. From last 6 years, I have been doing business. Before Corona, there was a struggling period for me. I struggled a lot. But after Corona, when the digital marketing has become a big tool. Everyone was thinking about digital marketing. From there, the success journey of mine has been started. From there till today, I have never seen back. So this is my journey from this struggling entrepreneur to successful entrepreneur. So as a young entrepreneur, I want to give few suggestions to young entrepreneurs that start as early as possible, and few people will be waiting for the investments. So when going for the investments, go for the investors who can travel with us for a longer period, not for a shorter period. अगर वो पैसे लगा देते और 2-3 महीने में प्रॉफिट्स मांगते हैं तो that doesn't work. They have to wait for at least 6 months to 1 year. Sometimes it may for 2 years to 3 years. Because you never know that your startup will get succeed or not. Right? So you have to wait. Do your best and you have to wait. Wait for the result. If the result is good, okay. If the result is bad, then also okay. You are very younger, you can try. You can change your strategies. You can change your marketing team. You can change your branding also sometimes. By changing things, you can get succeed. It may take time. Just wait for the result. So when going for the branding, go with this self-branding. Because at starting point, who will be our customers? Our friends and family. They won't come with our company name. They come with our face value. If our face value is good, they will give us opportunity. If we give a good service to them, they will continue with us and they'll give a reference to us. Then after, you can build your company name. From there, you can go forward. So when I started in 2018, I started with my friend. He traveled for 1 year. Due to struggling period, he left me. He went. When I got succeeded, again he came back. He said that last time जब हम बहुत मेहनत करें ना, फिर से हम मेहनत करेंगे. जब मैं छोड़ के चले गया, मेरे गलती हो गया. I given him opportunity. Again he traveled with me. फिर थोड़े दिन के बाद he said that I have little problem with my family. I just want to go and do job. So he went back. Now he is doing job, and I am alone here. So sometimes selecting partner is also becomes very crucial. The partner may give and, but we should not left hope. When we are going forward, एक बार याद रख लेना कि हम क्यों स्टार्ट किए. The journey should be long, not for a shorter period. We have to take more opportunities to get succeed because we are young. The success may come after 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. We have to wait patiently. There will be pressure from the family. वो बोलते कि तेरे फ्रेंड्स ऑलरेडी जॉब कर रहे हैं, लाखों में पैकेज ले रहे हैं, फिर भी हम अपनी हिम्मत नहीं छोड़ना है. Because once your startup gets succeeds, you take more than that. It grows 10x. वो 1 लाख रुपए ले रहा है तो नेक्स्ट ईयर 2 लाख ले सकता या 3 लाख ले सकता. पर अगर आपका बिजनेस सक्सेस हो गया ना, तो 1 लाख से 10 लाख को एक ही ईयर में जा सकते आप. सो वी हैव टू वेट. फैमिली प्रेशर्स रहते, उसको भी हम टैकल करके आगे बढ़ना रहेगा. समटाइम्स इमोशनली भी ये प्रेशर रहता, फिर भी उसको बैलेंस कर लेके हमको आगे बढ़ना चाहिए. सो व्हेन कमिंग टू डिजिटल मार्केटिंग, मैं स्टार्टिंग में डिजिटल मार्केटिंग से स्टार्ट नहीं किया. मैंने टीचर रिक्रूटमेंट से स्टार्ट किया मेरा बिजनेस को, पर आफ्टर कोविड स्कूल्स गॉट क्लोज्ड. I waited for 3 months after lockdown, but schools doesn't open. Then I got an opportunity to work for a politician as a digital marketer, and he got satisfied with my work. Then I took the opportunity and I have shared that profile to few politicians. They got impressed and they have given me the opportunity. In that way, my digital marketing company for politicians has got succeeded. Again, after 3 years, I got little trouble because after elections, the politicians they stopped our works because अब तो election नहीं है ना, बाद में देख लेंगे. So again, I have to wait for a fewer period. और तेलंगाना में थोड़ा बहुत रियल इस्टेट भी रुक गया है, तो रियल इस्टेट के क्लाइंट्स भी आना बंद हो गए थे आफ्टर इलेक्शन. सो थोड़ा बहुत प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है, पर अब नेक्स्ट पंचायती इलेक्शंस आ रहे हैं, उसके बाद में एमपीटीसी जेडपीटीसी इलेक्शंस आ रहे हैं, उसके बाद में म्यूनसिपल इलेक्शंस आ रहे हैं, उसके बाद में जीएचएमसी इलेक्शंस भी आने वाले हैं. सो आई एम वेटिंग फॉर दैट, सो आई एम वर्किंग ऑन दैट. This times I want to eat big, so I'm preparing for that. I've also started my YouTube channel. I'm sharing my thoughts through my YouTube channel. From there also I'm getting some leads, so it is working. I never showed my face. I always did marketing with references only. But when I started sharing my face, when I started revealing my face, I got more engaged from my clients, more engagement from my friends and family. They started sharing my videos to others. They started telling about me to their friends and family. From there, I'm getting leads. So in this way, we have to promote ourselves and we have to make brand to ourselves. So I just don't want to take more time, and I'm also not prepared. I thought my session is tomorrow, but suddenly I got a call. So I just want to end my session here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Corey sir, for the insightful session. Now, I would request you to please share your email in the chat box so that people can ask you further questions. And everyone, you can further reach out to him via his email ID itself. Now, I would request Mr. Jayaram Harihara Krishnan to commence his speech.
Hello. Hi guys. Good evening. Am I audible? Am I visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Lovely to see you all in this August evening. So I would like to start my session with just one question. Does anyone know what is one of the oldest professions that the world has had? Any raise of hands on the chat? If we could keep it interactive, because my session is all going to be about how we interact with people, right? Forging connections and making things work is where I would like to interact with all of you and learn, most importantly. So anyone, what is the oldest profession in the world?
I believe it is entrepreneurship or trade.
Yes, so it is trade, because when we were early human beings, we did nothing but barter system, right? I grow rice, you grow barley, I exchange my piece of rice with you. So that was the oldest form. I was expecting answer sales, but yes, you're close enough, sir, that you said it is barter and entrepreneurship, which is a higher form. See, I have august audience here who are extremely well read, be it Alkaji, who is a professionally qualified person speaking, and we have entrepreneurs like Mr. Vinay, etc., who have addressed before me. But I sell soap for a living, so I am a salesman end of the day, right? So my name is Jairam, and I work with Procter & Gamble currently, which is the home to the brand of several brands like Whisper, Pampers, Ariel, Tide, Oral-B, Gillette, Vicks, etc. And here I am today, seated in front of you all to understand what it is to mean by forging connections, right? So one thing that has stood is Alkaji spoke very eloquently about how borrowing works, how entrepreneurship can be funded, and what are the references that one takes to. But I'm here on the other side, where as a company employee, what does it mean to start up and dream big, that one can actually think of using one's connections and doing what it matters to. So here we would always talk about a simple format called context, action, and result, right? So when we speak about any such impact, or when we speak about any such referentials, we look at first what is the context. So contextually speaking, today I would just share one experience of mine with you. A friend of mine started off as a visibility expert, where in companies, if you see, you go to a supermarket, you have people actually putting stock up the shelf, right? So you have people who refill your dal, who refill your rice bags, who put up chocolates, who clean the shelf, etc. So any idea what is the salary range of such a person? Any idea, guys? Approximately roughly 8,000 to 9,000 rupees a month. So I mean, all of you guys today are extremely well placed, that you are students, you are dreamers, you're people who know what it is, you are associates, you are employees. But can you imagine living life in 8,000, 9,000 rupees, that too in a metro? Extremely difficult, right? But I have had people who have lived that life, understood what it means to be a product marketer, understand what are the trends that are involved in selling, and what is a persuasively important way of doing things, that they have grown today to become visibility experts themselves, where they consult companies on how should a planogram be, or how should a store design be, so that and so forth, that it is important to understand how does a stocking plate. Okay. How many of you visit supermarkets day in, day out, right? You go, you buy your groceries, you buy soap, you buy pads, diapers, anything. What do you see? One thing in observation that is common. Every supermarket has what in the front and what at the back. Can someone see from your real life example and tell me? When you enter a supermarket, what do you see first? Do you see the cash counter? Near the cash counter, what are the items that you see? Anyone else? Got it. So you usually see something called as a ritualistic purchase pattern. What is a ritualistic purchase pattern? Meaning you see that when you go back home, you would have forgotten to buy that product, but you would need that. Common example is brushes. How many of us change our brushes once in 3 months? We may want to change it, but unless and until our mummy or daddy comes home, or we go buy a brush to come home, we don't actually change our brushes, right? That is where the contextuality of that item is placed. Same thing. When you forge a connection, right, it's about understanding the placement of that utility there. How does the placement of that utility work so that people remember you at time of need? A simple brush in a store will help you understand that its relevance and importance is placement in the right place. Second example, always you have choices, right? When you have 3 choices, probably it's easy to choose. When you have 5 choices, slightly difficult. When you have 10 choices, it becomes very confusing. This is something called as paradox of choice. When number of choices exceeds a certain limitation, it becomes very difficult for you to understand what you really need. So that's where again context is very crucially set. How does context setting happen? Paradox of choice helps you reduce that context setting that needs to be done. So every time there is something called summarizing the big picture, or understanding what the real context behind each problem is. So as a person who devolves and who delves into everyday life, it is important to continuously anchor yourself into what is the larger picture, or what is that singular concept that you want to do in terms of context setting. So you may be probably extremely busy, extremely diverse, etc., etc. But what is that one key motivator that you'd like to do every day is something, a question that you need to keep asking yourself. If you ask yourself daily, then the number of choices that you eliminate becomes easier, and hence it's easier for you to choose and lead life the way it needs to. Right? Now getting into the second aspect of what is the actionability of the context or the concept that you have chosen. First, we have spoken about what is that singular choice that you will make, work towards that. Now comes the how part of it, right? So whenever we take a problem, we break it down like peeling an onion. प्याज को हम जब काटते हैं ना, लेयर्स होता है अंदर, So ऐसे ही होता है layers. मतलब how do you understand each layer का मतलब क्या है, each layer का मूल्य क्या है, which layer to retain, which layer to peel and throw it out. Very important. अगर आप समझेंगे तो प्याज का अंदर कुछ बचा है क्या? कुछ नहीं. अगर आप पील करते रहोगे तो प्याज खत्म हो जाएगा, right? Peeling the layers of onion helps you to understand there is nothing inside. So we must never be like that. That's what is the example of connotation of a pomegranate versus an onion. Cutting a pomegranate may be difficult, but there is some value that is present inside. Peeling an onion may be easy, but your eyes may tear up, but there is nothing left for you to significantly take back. So your how part of it, of what action in which context to chase versus which context to actionably intent, is something very, very difficult. And it's often said that actionability becomes the key crux of the context being right in the first place. समझो आपको हेल्प चाहिए, आप क्या करेंगे? पूछेंगे. मुझे हेल्प चाहिए बोल के सब लोग को पूछेंगे ना. So the first actionability is about where, the choice that you need to play. We spoke of context, we spoke of action, but that action needs to be present in the where of it. It's not in the how, but it's first in the where and what of it. So whenever you peel the layers of an onion, it is usually peeled by the 5 W's, right? Where, what, when, which, and why. So the where part of it is very, very important. Then the which. The which helps you to understand the tool that you need to build and forge connections. You know what is the biggest tool for selling soap? Does anyone know what is the biggest tool for selling soap? Anyone? Would you like to take a wild guess? It's people, right? The biggest tool for selling soap is people. Why do you think people? If people don't be there in the store to place themselves on the foot of it, it's not going to happen, right? So understanding the where and the which, the tool that you will use to comprehend something, is very, very, very important, more than the action itself. Then comes the why, which is the time needed, right? How do you put that in perspective? The context that you take and the action that you do will take some prerogative time in progenation for that to bear fruit, which is what Mr. Vinay very clearly said, that it will take time. So it is not about intent, it is also about service design. It is about the which part of it, where we understand what is needed while what needs to be done while the which is needed. So these are certain elements that you need to keep in mind when you look at the actionability of it. Then comes the biggest result bit of it. Often do you think if result don't come, efforts matter or don't matter? What do you think? Do results matter more than efforts? I don't know. Probably yes, probably no. But if you say efforts don't matter but results do, then you're set up for failure. You know why? Because you may win now, but you may not win every time. Understanding the bit of where, which, while, and finally the when is the cruciality of the context that you have picked in nature. So we have spoken in elaborate detail about contextuality and how that helps in setting up the notion for the result to be begetted. Then often we say result is a bigotrous process between effort and value seeked, right? Economics says that the more the effort you put versus the value that you get at the first time out of it, called the marginal diminishing utility curve. So whenever you put more effort, probably the first time you may feel good about it. But if you keep doing that continuously, the result begetting factor becomes lesser and lesser. That is when we go back to what is intended to something called as servitudinal leadership, right? It is very, very crucial to understand you are first the servant of your organization. Is the bathroom clogged? Be the first one to put your hand up and say, yes, I can do that job. Does that mean that job is lesser? No, not at all. Same thing. When you're selling soap, be the first person to be in the market. Understand what it is to sell soap. Go to every single store that you want to visit. Go up, down, understand what is the crux of it before saying to another person that you're supposed to sell it this way. On an average, in the last 1 year, if you see, I'm very proud to say that I would have visited at least 56,000 stores across Tamil Nadu. For what purpose? To understand what it is that retailer wants, to understand what it is the company seeks from the retailer in exchange of the value given, which comes to the where, which, and the why part of it. Now comes the fifth crucial element, which is the how. Understand that the how bit of it often gets sunk up into the efforts and the bigotry of the noise that creates around it. But does that mean it end of all? No, not at all, right? It also means to say that while the system is in progress, it is important to understand checkpoints and validation briefs, where the context, action, result is measured and pinpointed in terms of what is the metricalization that is needed to. But having said all that, effort is the key crux of unlocking networking. You know why? It is a lot of time consuming nature of understanding failures of hit and trial. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. But do you think it's rewarding? Absolutely rewarding enough. That is when we understand that the real crux of marketing or real crux of selling soap is about building the right relationship, is about doing the right account penetration for every purpose that you see. Purposefully understanding what is the intent behind that account's creation is what will lead you to help. So we have seen a lot in detail about what it is to forge and what it is to be a freight. Now let's come to a more crucial concept, which is very common in sales. How many of you understand early human beings were either hunters or farmers? What were we? Anybody, any takes?
Hunters, I guess.
Absolutely. We were a mix. Primarily hunters because animals were supreme and we didn't know how agriculture worked. So we were hunters first. But then we understood that hunting kept moving around places. Then we settled down. Then came crops. We understood what it is to mean agriculture, what it is irrigation, what is the process of cultivation. Same thing. Sales and networking is of two types. You either hunt or you are settling down as an agriculturalist. Both are good ways of performance. Having said that, is it good to be a hunter? Is it good to be a farmer? I don't know. Probably both. A mix of all. You never know. But the question that you need to seek is, are you at least trying to hunt or agriculturally cultivate something without sitting simply? Having said all that, it is simply put that you may actually go build a new connection, which is your hunting style. Or if you have given a connection, how do you mend? How do you ensure the crops keep growing, the relationship keeps growing? And understanding the nuances of that account really is how the agriculture works. A good organization needs both. You are future entrepreneurs of the country, absolutely. But let me tell you, selling is one of the most important skills that you need to have because that is the profit center for the company. You guys understand P&L, right? The top line is brought in by selling your item. Then comes your SRA, which is your strategic and your systemic revenue and your other related expense claims that keep deducting from that before tax hitting you. So understand, for top line to grow, it is important that you have the right context in mind, you act in the right manner, you chase the right results, and have a simple perspective on how each of these are working in tandem with each other. Finally, to bring in the required top line and ensure that you keep succeeding. End of the day, life is not about a zero sum game, it is about building profits, right? We are all here. We are all here not in a societal mindset, but in a culturally dominating fashion where we would like to grow mutually. Our cultures are grown in such a manner that we like to dominate one another. But that is the healthy competition that you bring in, where you want to positively outdo someone with the right context in mind. You want to positively outgrow someone so that there is healthy competition of job creation. And hence, it is all about understanding the nuances of the perspective given and not chasing what it intends to versus what is the intentionality to. So that was what I had in mind. I hope I have delivered it crisp. And any doubts, anything about what my perspectives are, please let me know, guys. Would love to get your feedback.
Thank you so much, Jairam sir, for the wonderful speech, and it was really an insightful session with you as well. I would like to ask some questions too regarding this, what you talked about. So, would you like to answer those?
Sure, please go ahead.
Okay. So the first question is that how does PMG foster an entrepreneurial mindset within its sales teams, especially when navigating a corporate environment known for its structured processes?
Very clear. So if you notice, right, PNG is one such organization which is very, very adept at acquiring and forging companies. So if you see, Gillette as a company was bought over by PNG, Pringles as a company which was PNG was sold by them. Then they bought over a brand which was actually initially Vicks and initially Godrej. So the whole conceptualization of a company growing, both organically and inorganically, is through acquisition. Acquisition mainly comes through when you are entrepreneurial in nature, when you want to understand how to imprint your footprint across the geography, either using current strength or using the required strength. So that is the concept that I was talking of, which is the farmer versus hunter relationship, right? You have a land, you have a farmer, befriend him. Understand what the farmer does for a living. That is also an entrepreneurial mindset. It's about finally profit creation. No, it is about value creation. And an entrepreneur truly must think about value creation rather than profit generation, because value creation will take him the long route versus profit creation may actually burn him out in the near term. And hence, PNG fosters one simple example of value culture where we look at what value creation will happen for the customer, for the retailer, for the company, and for the employee. So all stakeholders involved focus on one singular item, which is maximizing top line without hitting out on the bottom line. So this is the simple cultural mindset that is ingrained, which automatically converts into an entrepreneurial function of what needs to be done to.
Okay, thank you, sir. And the next question is that in your experience, then what are the key strategies for identifying and capitalizing on new market opportunities, and how do you balance innovation with the company's existing sales goals?
Got it. So actually, if you see the open world out there, like I said, going to market, understanding each store owner's expansion, right? See that one thing I would say today, whatever PNG has done is only because of market related input. Simply put, if you see a simple consumer trend, women in general prefer their babies to wear diapers at night. Why? Because they want a sound sleep. In China, a couple of years ago, we had a massive problem. There's a traditional langot, which is equivalent of what we wear for kids here, which is a cloth-based langot that Chinese used to use, and they were very, very apprehensive of using diapers. A simple study was done to understand what was the apprehension behind that. Market innovation is all about understanding consumer studies. And understandingly, finally, one pain point that came out of it was that mothers felt in the middle of the night if the child had urinated or had undergone some sort of a metabolic activity, they had to wake up in the middle of the night, lost their sound sleep. The child was also cranky because of the wet cloth, and hence they wanted something that could solve for their problem. That is when this latent need of diapers came into acceptance into the Chinese society. When PNG said that this is an item which has been specifically curated for babies to have a sound sleep. Now, if you look at opportunity wise, in an open China market, you can never beat the langot. But understanding consumer point of view, to understand what are the pitfalls of a langot, helps us understand how better to market and sell a Pampers diaper. Having said that, there must be value in that, right? A langot is reusable. A langot is simply handed down from children to children. Chinese culture is very similar to Indian culture. Now, PNG had to develop a product that was cheap, that was effective, and environmentally friendly, which is when we had the sticky pads, wherein you had an innovation where diapers could be multiple times reused and still it could be giving the same feel of a non-wet langot equivalent. That is where the product innovation comes. So here, if you see any company that needs to understand open opportunities and understand what are the challenges in the current market landscape, first needs to be humble to understand that our product may not be the best. But now, having said that, can you do anything about it? Of course, yes. Understand how you can work towards making your product better, identifying that latent opportunity, positioning your product in such a manner that opportunity identified is sold, which is what I spoke to you about the 5 Ws, right? It's also about the where, while, and the which, the tool that you use to do it. And the how comes last. Often, companies today do the mistake of understanding the how first and not understanding the 5 W's behind that. Which is why when I ask and start my speech, I said context is the key for any perspective design. Unless and until you're going to have a conceptually clear context, it is very difficult to solve the problem. I'm sorry, a long answer, but this is the perspective behind how product development happens.
Okay, sir. Another last question is that do you have some advice which you would like to give to aspiring entrepreneurs on building a strong sales strategy when launching some new products in a highly competitive market like the consumer goods industry?
Got it. One more example from the past, guys. In 1997, if you go back to the soap industry, right, Surf was the biggest brand. Nobody could even think of beating Surf. Then came one fine gentleman called Nirma. You would have heard of it, Jyoti Labs, Nirma. He was one young entrepreneur who understood what it is to capture the soap market. Till date, do you think Nirma had a tough time? Absolutely yes. Do you think Nirma didn't have a story behind it? Not at all. Do you think they could challenge Surf? Very difficult. They were a multitudinal entrepreneurial company. HUL was a magnet by itself, but still Nirma won today. That is because it struck a chord with people that in rural areas when soap is sold, it is sold by the kg. It is sold in terms of making new users come into the market, which is what we called as a category growth framework. So any broad entrepreneur who's trying his hand today in any sales strategy needs to understand its category growth. I would often quote one example. I mean, of course, from a B school, it is often said than easier. There is something called as a blue ocean strategy. There are two ways of fishing. Sorry, I'm a more a crude guy giving examples about fishing, about farming, about hunting, but it catches the attention of people easily. Why I say so? Simply put, in an ocean, if you have a lot of fish, there are two ways of looking at it. You can go throw your net and take fish out of it. That could be true till the fish in the pond is going to be there in unlimited resources. But if the fish is limited, then you start competing, you go deeper, the cost that you need to do for fishing goes up. Now imagine you have a fish breeding farm where you are the control expert of how much fishes you will breed and you will cultivate. Then there is no one stopping you, which is a blue ocean strategy. Create a systemic environment where you do not beat competition, but you are the category yourself. Take the example of Mama Earth. You know what is the key crux matter? Do you think it was easy for them to match Pantene, each match Head and Shoulders, or probably Tresemme or Dove, who are giants in their segment? But still, Mama Earth is very much relevant today. It's a multi-crore business. Why? Simply put, they spoke of Ayurvedic and natural extract processes. That was an entire new genre of itself. Entrepreneurs today need to understand that innovation is in understanding the consumer. Humility, humility, humility. Understanding the consumer with extreme precision and understanding that you do not have a product today and you would like to find a product for the need is the first step. Often we do the mistake. We've developed the product ourselves. Then we say, now go find the consumer for this. Doesn't work like that. Simply put, Tata Nano, best car, wonderfully given. What did it say itself to? World's cheapest car. It didn't take off. Why was Maruti seen as a status symbol? That is because it empowered people to drive themselves out. While Nano said itself, I'm a poor man's friend, but nobody wants to be a poor man's friend, right? Everybody wants to be the rich. Everybody wants to be the middle class who's aspiring to be rich. But in reality, I may be a poor man, but I will not accept it. So it is all about perspective. I go back to my speech again. Understanding the concept, understanding the core crux of what is the conceptualization. Actioning the right conceptualization will give you the result. Slightly Nano pushed itself into the EV space. They understood about what it is to be a family car. Then their sales shot up. That is because a change in perspective happened. So hence I would say times have never been easy. Times will never be easy. Have they been easy? No. Will they be easy? No. Was it difficult to innovate then? Yes. Was it difficult to innovate now? Absolutely yes. If you're ready to do that innovation, understand the consumer with great humility, then success is guaranteed.
Thank you so much, sir, for your answers. They were very informative to our audience and everyone as well.
Thank you.
So next, I would like to invite our next speaker for the day, who is Dr. Sandeep, Mr. Sandeep. So I would now request him to commence his speech.
Yeah, Sandeep ji, are we audible?
I guess he's having some network issues. He might join in a while, so please wait for a while.
Sure, sure, sure. No issue. I would like to request all the audience to actively participate in the poll questions by then till Sandeep ji joins us. I would like to request uh, Hariharan ji, if you can hear me, if you can just share your email ID in the chat box for anyone who has any queries, it would be a pleasure. Vaishali ji, if I'm audible, I would like to request you to check on Miss Payal once. Do ask her to communicate with Sandeep ji if his network issues are something that's of a permanent nature. I would like to request all participants to kindly participate in the poll till Sandeep ji arrives. I guess there are certain network issues on his end. Until then, if the participants have any queries, you may address it to specific speakers and obviously unmute yourself and speak. No queries still here? Sure. Then. I guess Sandeep ji won't be able to join us today due to network issues from his end. So now, as we come to the close of this remarkable conference, we would like to express our heartfelt appreciation to each and every one of you. The knowledge shared, the insights gained, and the connections made have all contributed to the success of this event. We are truly grateful for all of your participation. As we wrap up this conference session, we kindly request all attendees and speakers to take a moment to provide your valuable feedback and reviews on Google Meet. Your input and thoughts are